Clara stood quietly at the edge of the village, watching as the sun slowly rose over Eldara. The soft glow warmed the peaceful fields, bathing everything in golden light. Ethan approached gently, noticing the thoughtful look on her face. "Are you worried?" Ethan asked softly, standing beside her. Clara nodded slightly. "Talara won't give up easily. I can feel she's planning something big." Ethan took her hand, holding it reassuringly. "You've proven you're stronger than she realizes. I believe in you, Clara." She smiled warmly, comforted by Ethan's support. "I don't know what I'd do without you." Before Ethan could reply, they saw Captain Morgan's cruiser descending from the sky, landing just outside the village. Clara and Ethan quickly moved toward the ship, greeting the captain and her crew as they stepped onto Eldara's soil. Captain Morgan approached Clara directly. "Talara has gathered her full force. She plans a final strike here on Eldara." Clara felt her heart race, but she steadied herself with determination. "Then we must prepare. We'll face her together." The villagers gathered, listening anxiously, as Clara, Ethan, and Captain Morgan planned their defense. Though fearful, they trusted Clara deeply. Ethan encouraged the villagers, assuring them they would overcome Talara's threat if they remained united. For days, Eldara prepared, building defenses and gathering supplies. Clara practiced tirelessly, perfecting her control over the powers the Dragonheart crystal granted her. Each moment brought clarity, her confidence growing alongside her skills. Still, the fear of becoming Zarakai lingered, though Clara now believed strongly in her ability to resist Dotted Dawn. On the sixth day, alarms sounded from Captain Morgan's ship. Talara's fleet approaches. One crew member reported urgently. Clara stood firmly, her gaze steady. "Everyone, stay strong. We will protect our home together." The sky darkened with dozens of alien ships, led by Talara's massive flagship. As the fleet landed, soldiers swiftly deployed, forming ranks facing the village. Talara herself stepped forward, eyes locked defiantly on Clara. "This ends today, Zarakai," Talara declared loudly. "Accept who you are, or everyone here suffers." "I am Clara," she replied firmly, "and I will never surrender to your darkness." With a fierce gesture, Talara launched the attack. Alien soldiers rushed forward, weapons blazing. Clara and Ethan sprang into action, leading the villagers and Captain Morgan's crew bravely into battle. The village square erupted into fierce fighting. Eldara's defenders holding their ground with courage and determination. Clara moved swiftly, protecting villagers and allies alike. Ethan remained close, fighting bravely beside her, determined never to leave her alone. The battle was intense, but Clara's leadership and strength inspired everyone around her, boosting their morale and unity. However, Talara's forces began overwhelming Eldara's defenders. Seeing this, Clara realized she needed to face Talara directly. Finding the alien warlord quickly, Clara confronted her head-on. Their battle was fierce and powerful, the ground shaking with each blow exchanged. Talara fought ruthlessly, using every trick and tactic to force Clara's submission. Yet Clara stayed focused, using Zarakai's memories tactically without letting them consume her. "You can't resist forever," Talara snarled bitterly. "Zarakai's strength flows through you." "Her strength, maybe," Clara countered calmly, "but not her cruelty. I choose who I am." Infuriated, Talara intensified her attacks, forcing Clara back. Ethan saw Clara struggling and bravely rushed forward, distracting Talara just enough for Clara to regain control. However, Talara turned sharply, striking Ethan hard, sending him tumbling to the ground injured. "Ethan!" Clara cried, heart filling with panic and rage. But she quickly steadied herself, recalling her promise to never succumb to Zarakai's ruthlessness. She stepped protectively in front of Ethan, facing Talara with renewed determination. Drawing deeply from the Dragonheart crystal, Clara unleashed controlled strength, pushing Talara back firmly but mercifully. She fought carefully, disarming Talara without causing permanent harm. Realizing defeat, Talara stared angrily at Clara, her eyes filled with bitterness. "Why spare me? Zarakai would never show mercy." Clara replied calmly, her voice filled with confidence and compassion. "I told you, I am not Zarakai. Mercy is true strength." Talara hesitated, clearly shaken by Clara's words and actions. Finally accepting defeat, she signaled her forces to retreat. The alien soldiers withdrew swiftly, boarding their ships. And leaving Eldara's skies peaceful once again, the villagers and Captain Morgan's crew cheered triumphantly, relief and joy filling their hearts. Clara immediately rushed to Ethan's side, kneeling beside him. "I'm all right," Ethan assured her weakly, smiling gently. Clara carefully helped him up, holding him close. Captain Morgan approached, gratitude clear in her eyes. "You saved us all, Clara. Your bravery inspires us." Clara smiled warmly. "We did this together. Thank you, Captain." As evening fell, Eldara celebrated their hard-earned victory. Villagers gathered happily, grateful to Clara and Ethan for protecting their home. Clara felt deep pride and relief, finally confident in her control over Zarakai's memories and powers. That night, Clara and Ethan sat quietly beneath Eldara's gentle stars. Ethan took Clara's hand gently, looking deeply into her eyes. "You've proven who you truly are. Zarakai no longer controls you." Clara smiled softly, leaning into Ethan's comforting embrace. "I couldn't have done this without you, Ethan." He squeezed her hand reassuringly. "I'll always be by your side." Clara knew Eldara's peace had been restored, but the galaxy still faced challenges. She vowed silently to always use her strength and powers wisely, protecting the innocent and bringing hope wherever she could. The Dragonheart crystal pulsed gently, reassuring her of the rightness of her path, with Ethan beside her and the trust of her people behind her. Clara felt ready for whatever lay ahead, confident that she could face any future with courage, compassion, and strength. Days passed quietly, allowing Eldara to regain a sense of peace. Clara continued her careful practice, mastering her powers under Ethan's watchful eyes. Though villagers began trusting her again, Clara knew her battle was not yet over. Talara would return, determined to force Zarakai's awakening. One quiet morning, a bright flash filled the sky, followed by a distant explosion. Curious and concerned, Clara and Ethan hurried to the village square, where villagers had gathered, whispering anxiously. Moments later, another flash appeared, and Clara immediately recognized it as a battle in space. Clara turned to Ethan, eyes wide with worry. "Someone needs help up there." Ethan nodded quickly, understanding her determination. "Be careful, Clara." She smiled warmly at him, squeezing his hand gently before stepping away. "I will. Stay safe." Using her powers, Clara soared toward the battle, guided by the Dragonheart crystal. Soon she reached the damaged ship, a small cruiser surrounded by hostile fighters. Without hesitation, Clara flew directly into the fray, her strength and agility unmatched. She swiftly disabled the enemy ships, forcing them into retreat. Clara entered the damaged cruiser, finding the crew members struggling to restore critical systems. Their captain, Natalie Morgan, eyed Clara suspiciously at first, clearly wary of her mysterious savior. "Who are you?" Natalie asked firmly, watching Clara carefully. "My name is Clara," she answered calmly. "I came to help." Captain Morgan studied Clara for a long moment, seeing honesty and strength in her eyes. She nodded slowly. "We appreciate your help, Clara. I'm Captain Natalie Morgan. We were attacked by Talara's forces. Do you know her?" Clara sighed deeply, nodding. "Too well. Talara believes I'm the rebirth of Zarakai, an ancient warlord. She's determined to force my true nature to awaken." Captain Morgan's eyes widened slightly in surprise. "Zarakai? Her legacy is feared across the galaxy. You don't seem like her." "I'm not," Clara said firmly. "I'm fighting to stay myself and protect those I care about." Captain Morgan respected Clara's honesty and determination. "Perhaps we can help each other. Talara is a threat to us all." Clara agreed gratefully, knowing allies were exactly what she needed. Together, they repaired the ship, forming a bond of trust and friendship. Meanwhile, Ethan worked hard to reassure villagers back on Eldara. He understood their fears and did his best to calm and comfort them. Still, he worried deeply for Clara, knowing she faced grave dangers. On Captain Morgan's ship, Clara learned more about the wider galaxy, its peoples, and the devastation Zarkai once caused. Each story troubled her deeply, yet Clara resolved more strongly than ever to prove she was different. Suddenly, alarms rang throughout the ship. "Incoming enemy fleet!" shouted one crew member. Captain Morgan acted swiftly. "Prepare for battle!" "Clara, we could use your help again." Clara nodded firmly, determined to protect her newfound friends. Talara's fleet appeared, surrounding them quickly. Talara herself appeared on the main view screen, her eyes cold and determined. "You can't hide forever, Zarkai," Talara declared harshly. "Surrender now, or your friends will pay the price." Clara stepped forward confidently. "I am Clara. I will never surrender to you or my past." Talara smiled cruelly, cutting the transmission abruptly. Her fleet attacked viciously, lasers firing intensely. Clara sprang into action, defending the ship tirelessly, pushing herself harder than ever before. Each movement precise, each strike powerful yet controlled. Despite her efforts, the cruiser sustained heavy damage. Clara realized they couldn't win this battle alone. In a moment of desperation, she reached deep within herself, seeking Zarakai's battle knowledge without succumbing to her ruthless nature. Guided by these memories, Clara directed Captain Morgan strategically, exploiting weaknesses in Talara's forces. Slowly, the battle shifted in their favor, forcing Talara's fleet to retreat once more. After the fight, Clara stood exhausted but proud. Captain Morgan approached her, gratitude clear in her eyes. "You saved us again. Thank you, Clara." Clara smiled faintly. "I couldn't have done it without your trust." Captain Morgan nodded warmly, placing a supportive hand on Clara's shoulder. "You have our loyalty. If you ever need help, we'll be there." Feeling deeply grateful, Clara returned home to Eldara, relieved to find Ethan and the villagers safe. Ethan embraced her warmly, his relief evident. "You made allies?" Ethan asked hopefully. Clara nodded, smiling tiredly. "Good people. They'll stand with us." Days later, Clara continued training, her confidence and control stronger than ever. Ethan supported her, always encouraging her to trust herself fully. Yet, Clara knew Talara wouldn't give up easily. One calm evening, as the twin moons shone softly over Eldara, Clara sensed a new danger. She hurried outside to find villagers pointing fearfully toward the sky. A massive alien ship approached rapidly, clearly belonging to Talara herself. Clara's heart raced with fear and determination. She knew this confrontation could determine her fate forever. Ethan took her hand, squeezing it reassuringly. "I'm with you, Clara." She smiled bravely. Together, the ship landed, Talara stepping out confidently, surrounded by her strongest warriors. Her eyes locked fiercely onto Clara. "Zarakai, your final awakening has arrived." Clara stood tall, her voice strong. "I'm ready, Talara. But understand this, I am Clara, protector of Eldara, not Zarakai." Talara sneered, signaling her warriors to attack. Clara and Ethan fought bravely, side by side, determined to protect their home. As the fierce battle raged around her, Clara felt Zarakai's memories attempting to dominate again. Yet, this time, Clara resisted firmly, drawing strength from Ethan and the trust of villagers watching anxiously. She used Zarakai's skills strategically, but always chose mercy and protection over ruthless destruction. Finally, Clara faced Talara directly once again. Their battle was intense, each powerful strike shaking the ground. Yet Clara fought with careful control, refusing to lose herself. Slowly, she gained the upper hand, cornering Talara firmly. "Finish it," Talara demanded bitterly. "Prove you're truly Zarakai." Clara shook her head firmly. I won't. I am not Zarakai. I choose mercy. Talara stared defiantly, but saw the unshakable resolve in Clara's eyes. Defeated yet alive, Talara retreated once more. The villagers cheered loudly, celebrating Clara's strength and kindness. Ethan hugged Clara warmly, pride shining clearly in his eyes. Clara felt peace finally settling into her heart. That night, beneath Ildara's stars, Clara stood confidently beside Ethan, knowing her battle was nearing its end. She had faced her darkest fears, overcoming Zarakai's legacy with courage, compassion, and love. She vowed silently that no matter what came next, she would always remain true to herself and those she protected. Days turned into weeks, and Ildara slowly returned to normal after the fierce battle. Clara spent her time helping villagers rebuild and recover. Ethan stood by her side, offering support and comfort as Clara struggled silently with the growing memories of Zarakai. Despite their victory, Clara felt uneasy. She knew Talara would return, and the next confrontation might be even harder. Villagers, grateful but still wary, watched Clara closely as she went about her daily tasks. Clara sensed their fear but chose patience and kindness, hoping they would learn to trust her fully again. Yet the burden of Zarakai's memories weighed heavily on her, causing restless nights filled with troubled dreams. One bright morning, Clara decided to visit Arian's cave again, hoping to find guidance in the peaceful silence. Ethan offered to join her, but she insisted on going alone, feeling she needed solitude. As she climbed the mountain, the dragon heart crystal began glowing gently, responding to the place of its origin. Inside the cave, Clara sat quietly, holding the crystal in her hands. She closed her eyes, seeking Arian's wisdom. But instead, a peace, powerful visions overwhelmed her once again. This time, she saw Zarakai clearly, ruling harshly, conquering worlds without mercy. Clara struggled to pull away from the visions, fighting desperately to hold on to her true self. A sudden noise startled her, breaking the painful visions. Opening her eyes, she saw Ethan standing at the cave's entrance. I was worried about you, Ethan said softly. Clara saw sadness and fear in his eyes. I don't know if I can control these memories, Clara admitted, her voice shaky. They grow stronger every day. Ethan walked toward her slowly, taking her hands in his. You have the strength, Clara. You've proven that over and over. Zarakai's memories don't define you. Your actions do. Clara sighed deeply, comforted by Ethan's belief in her. But her heart still felt heavy, knowing Talara was still out there, waiting for the right moment to strike. Far away, on Talara's ship, the alien warlord reviewed her new strategy. Her scouts had learned much about Clara's village and her deep connection to Ethan. Talara knew exploiting this weakness might finally force Zarakai's true self to awaken fully. She smiled cruelly, preparing for the perfect strike. One evening, as the village gathered for a feast to celebrate their recovery, alien ships suddenly appeared again in the sky. Panic erupted immediately. Clara jumped to her feet, her heart pounding. She knew exactly why Talara had chosen this moment. Talara's forces attacked swiftly, more aggressively than before. Clara fought back fiercely, using her powers carefully. To protect villagers, Ethan stayed close, fighting bravely. But Talara's forces had planned meticulously. They separated Ethan from Clara, driving him further from her sight. Realizing their plan too late, Clara fought her way through the attackers. Desperate to find Ethan, she called his name loudly, her voice echoing through the chaos. Finally, she saw him surrounded and badly injured, yet still fighting bravely. Clara rushed toward him, her heart filled with dread. Before she could reach Ethan, Talara herself appeared, blocking Clara's path. You want him alive, Zarakai. Talara sneered, raising her weapon threateningly. Then surrender and embrace your true self. Anger and fear surged through Clara, clouding her mind. The Dragonheart crystal glowed intensely, amplifying her emotions. For a moment, Zarakai's fierce instincts took control. Clara unleashed incredible power, knocking Talara aside violently. She fought her way to Ethan, defeating attackers swiftly and without mercy. But as Clara knelt beside Ethan, she realized her actions had terrified the villagers who witnessed her ruthless power. They stepped back, their faces filled with fear. Clara's heart broke at their reaction. She gently lifted Ethan, carrying him away from the battle. Later, alone in her cottage, Clara carefully tended Ethan's injuries again, using her healing powers. Ethan slowly opened his eyes, smiling weakly. "You saved me again," he whispered softly. Clara turned away, hiding her tears. "I scared everyone, Ethan. They saw Zarakai, not me." Ethan reached out gently, pulling her closer. "They were frightened, Clara, but you acted out of love, not cruelty. You protected me. That's the Clara I know." Clara leaned into Ethan's comforting embrace, feeling conflicted but relieved. She knew Ethan saw the truth in her heart. Still, the villagers' fear haunted her deeply. The next morning, Clara decided to speak to the villagers directly. She stepped into the village square, facing their wary and fearful expressions. Gathering her courage, Clara spoke honestly. "I know my powers frighten you, but I promise I am still Clara, your friend and protector. I will never harm you. Zarakai's memories trouble me deeply, but I will never let them control me." Slowly, villagers nodded, accepting her heartfelt words. Though fear lingered, trust began returning to their eyes. Ethan stood beside Clara, his presence reassuring both her and the villagers in space. Aboard her ship, Talara recovered from Clara's powerful attack. She felt frustration, but also satisfaction. Zarakai's true nature was emerging, despite Clara's resistance. Talara knew it was only a matter of time before Clara surrendered completely to Zarakai's memories. "We will wait," Talara commanded her officers. "Zarakai is close. Her awakening cannot be stopped now." Back in Eldara, Clara felt uneasy yet determined. She knew Talara wouldn't stop, and the final confrontation was coming. Clara resolved to master her powers and memories fully, refusing to let Zarakai's dark past dictate her future. Ethan remained faithfully by her side, encouraging her every step of the way. Together, they practiced daily, strengthening Clara's control and understanding of her abilities. Clara felt her confidence return gradually, bolstered by Ethan's constant support and belief. Despite her growing strength, Clara knew the hardest battle lay ahead within herself. Zarakai's ruthless legacy haunted her dreams, challenging her determination every day. Clara feared becoming the ruthless warlord she saw in her visions. Yet, each day she resisted, she grew stronger in her resolve. One quiet evening, sitting beneath Eldara's gentle stars, Clara felt Ethan's reassuring hand in hers. "We'll face this together," Ethan promised softly, his voice strong with sincerity. Clara smiled warmly, drawing comfort from his strength. "Together," she agreed, knowing that with Ethan's support, she could face any darkness. The Dragonheart crystal pulsed gently, affirming her decision. Clara vowed silently never to lose sight of her true self, determined to protect her home and those she loved, no matter the cost. Clara woke early the next morning, still feeling the weight of yesterday's events. Ethan lay sleeping peacefully, his wounds nearly healed thanks to the powers granted by the Dragonheart. Clara moved quietly from the cottage, stepping outside. Into the cool morning air, her heart heavy with concern, she walked through the quiet village, noticing how the villagers now watched her cautiously from their homes, whispering among themselves. Clara knew they feared her, yet she understood why. Her powers were growing stronger every day, and with them, memories that felt alien and unsettling. Clara left the village and headed into the forest to clear her mind. She felt drawn to the cave where Orion once lived, as if something there was calling to her. The cave was quiet now, its darkness soft and comforting. Clara sat down, holding the Dragonheart crystal gently in her hands. Suddenly, another vision overtook her. This time it was clear and powerful, drawing her deep into the past. Clara saw herself as Zarakai, wearing gleaming armor, standing upon the command deck of an enormous warship. Below her stretched countless worlds, each one conquered through brutal force. The visions overwhelmed her senses, and Clara felt sick as memories of war and destruction surged through her. "No!" she gasped, fighting against the visions, pulling herself back into the present. Tears streamed down her face as she fought to remember who she truly was. She clutched the dragon heart tightly, feeling its calming warmth flow through her. Pushing back against the darkness, Clara opened her eyes to see Ethan standing quietly at the cave entrance, watching her with worry. "Are you all right, Clara?" he asked gently, stepping closer. She shook her head slowly, unable to hide the truth any longer. "These memories, Ethan, they're terrible. They're mine, but they're not. I see myself as someone else. Someone cruel and ruthless." Ethan sat beside her, placing a comforting arm around her shoulders. "You are not that person, Clara. You have always been kind and brave. The dragon heart chose you for a reason. It trusts you to be different." Clara smiled weakly, comforted by Ethan's presence. Yet deep inside, doubts lingered. Could she truly resist becoming Zarakai again? Could she protect those she cared for from herself? Meanwhile, far from Eldara, Talara plotted her next move. Her scouts reported Clara's growing powers, and Talara saw an opportunity. "If Zarakai's memories are returning, then we must ensure she fully awakens." Talara ordered her officers. "Prepare a squadron. We return to Eldara immediately." Days passed, and Clara spent her time practicing control over her abilities. Ethan remained at her side, supporting her through the struggle. Slowly, villagers began to trust her again, seeing her efforts to protect them from harm. But Clara knew peace wouldn't last. One clear night, the village's peace shattered as the alien ships returned, their engines roaring through the night sky. Villagers screamed and ran for cover, panic spreading quickly. Clara stood firm, her heart racing as she faced the approaching threat. Ethan stood bravely beside her, determined not to leave her alone again. Talara stepped forward confidently. From the landing alien ship, flanked by soldiers, her gaze locked fiercely onto Clara. "Zarakai," she called out loudly, voice filled with authority. "It's time you reclaim your true power." Clara stood tall, her voice strong and clear. "I will never be Zarakai. My name is Clara, and I will never become like you." Talara smiled coldly, her eyes gleaming. "We shall see about that." Without warning, Talara gave the signal, and her soldiers attacked, their weapons firing blasts of energy. Clara reacted instantly, using her enhanced strength and speed to shield the villagers. Ethan fought bravely alongside her, determined to protect his home and friends. As Clara fought, she felt her powers grow stronger, memories flooding back. She remembered tactical maneuvers, battle strategies, and ways to defeat her enemies quickly. These memories guided her movements, helping her fight effectively, but also frightening her with their familiarity. During the battle, Talara focused her attention directly on Clara, challenging her personally. Their fight was fierce and swift, each blow powerful and calculated. Talara was skilled and dangerous, pushing Clara to her limits. Clara fought back, determined not to let Zarakai's ruthless instincts control her. "Give in, Zarakai," Talara taunted. "You know your true nature. Accept it." "Never," Clara shouted defiantly. Using every bit of her strength to force Talara back. In a critical moment, Ethan distracted Talara, giving Clara an opening. She seized the chance, striking decisively and knocking Talara down. Instead of ending the fight permanently, Clara restrained herself, standing firmly but mercifully over Talara. "You are wrong, Talara," Clara said firmly, breathing heavily. "I will never become Zarakai again." Talara stared up, anger mixed with grudging respect in her eyes. She signaled her soldiers to retreat, slowly rising to her feet. "This isn't over," she warned, retreating back to her ship. As the alien ships departed once more, The villagers gathered around Clara and Ethan, cheering gratefully. Clara felt relief, but also worry. The battle had awakened more of Zarakai's memories, making her feel conflicted. Ethan, sensing her turmoil, gently touched her arm. You controlled yourself, Clara. You chose mercy over cruelty. Clara nodded quietly, hoping Ethan was right. She knew her internal battle was not over, and she would need all her strength to keep the darkness at bay. Later that night, Clara sat alone, staring up at the stars, holding the dragon heart closely. She whispered softly, Orion, please help. Me. Guide me to stay true to myself. At that moment, a gentle breeze whispered around her, comforting and reassuring. Clara felt a deep calm settle into her heart. She knew Arian's spirit was watching over her, supporting her in the struggle ahead. She closed her eyes, feeling her resolve strengthen. Clara vowed she would protect Eldara and her people, no matter what memories haunted her. She would face her fears and overcome them, staying true to the good within her heart. With that promise, Clara finally felt peace, ready to face whatever future awaited her. The following morning, Clara woke up feeling strange. She sat up slowly in her bed, clutching the dragon heart crystal tightly. Its soft glow had faded slightly, but it pulsed gently with each heartbeat as though linked directly to her own heart. Clara felt a new strength within her, something powerful yet calm, like an ancient memory slowly waking up. Ethan knocked on her door, interrupting her thoughts. Clara, are you all right? You've been quiet since last night. He called. Clara quickly hid the crystal under her pillow and opened the door. Ethan looked at her carefully, concern clear on his face. I'm fine, Ethan, she said softly, forcing a reassuring smile. Just tired. Ethan nodded slowly but looked unconvinced. Everyone is talking about the dragon. They saw the shadow last night. Did you see anything? Clara hesitated, wondering how much she should share. I saw him, she finally admitted. He spoke to me. Ethan's eyes widened. What did he say? She took a deep breath. He gave me something important, Ethan, a responsibility to protect our people. Ethan nodded seriously, sensing the gravity of her words. If anyone can handle it, it's you. Clara felt warmth spread through her heart. Ethan's trust gave her strength. Still, she knew deep inside that her life had forever changed. Days passed, and Clara began exploring the powers granted by the dragon heart. Her strength grew rapidly, and she found herself faster, sharper, and smarter than before. But with these gifts came troubling visions, memories that felt unfamiliar yet strangely personal. Visions of battles among stars, worlds set aflame, and an alien figure commanding vast armies. Troubled, Clara often wandered alone, deep into the forest, practicing controlling her new powers away from prying eyes. During one practice, she accidentally shattered a large tree with a single blow. She stared at her hands, frightened by the destructive force she now possessed. At that moment, a familiar voice echoed from behind. Clara, what's happening to you? She turned sharply, her eyes meeting Ethan's shocked gaze. Unable to hide anymore, Clara confessed everything. She showed Ethan the crystal, explaining the visions, the powers, and her fear of losing control. You are still Clara, Ethan assured her firmly, placing a comforting hand on her shoulder. This crystal chose you for a reason. Trust yourself. Meanwhile, on the alien ship, Talara studied reports from her scouts carefully. The dragon heart had indeed awakened Zarakai's dormant essence within a human girl. Talara smiled coldly. Soon, their ancient leader would reclaim her rightful place and restore their empire's former glory. Set a course for Eldara, she ordered, her voice sharp and determined. Back in Eldara, Clara and Ethan returned to the village to find panic spreading. Villagers gathered around the square, whispering anxiously about strange lights spotted in the sky. Clara felt dread rising within her. She sensed the alien presence approaching, the same presence from her visions. A sudden bright flash lit the sky, and villagers scattered in fear. A sleek, menacing ship descended swiftly, landing just beyond the village outskirts. Clara clenched her fists, feeling the Dragonheart crystal pulse urgently. Ethan stood protectively by her side, even as fear clouded his face. The ship's doors opened, and armored alien soldiers marched out, surrounding Talara, whose fierce eyes immediately locked on to Clara. A sinister smile spread across Talara's face. At last, Zarakai, your people await your return. Clara stepped forward boldly. I am Clara, not Zarakai, she declared firmly, though doubt lingered deep inside. Talara's smile faded, replaced by cold determination. We shall see. With a swift motion, Talara signaled her soldiers. They advanced rapidly toward the villagers, weapons raised. Without hesitation, Clara leaped into action. Moving faster than humanly possible, she blocked the attackers, her movements swift and precise. The villagers watched in amazement as Clara defended them effortlessly, her strength astonishing even herself. Yet, amidst the chaos, Ethan was struck by an alien weapon, falling injured to the ground. Clara's heart froze as she saw him collapse. Rage and fear filled her, fueling her powers. Her crystal glowed fiercely, amplifying her strength. She fought fiercely, pushing the alien soldiers back until Talara signaled a retreat. The aliens withdrew quickly, but Talara's gaze remained fixed on Clara. You cannot run from who you are, Zarakai, she warned ominously. You will embrace your destiny. As the ship departed, Clara rushed to Ethan's side. He was alive, breathing weakly, but badly wounded. Villagers gathered cautiously, their eyes filled with fear and confusion as they looked at Clara. You saved us, whispered one villager gratefully. Yet others eyed Clara warily, their trust shaken by the incredible and frightening power she had displayed. Clara gently lifted Ethan, determined to heal him using the Dragonheart's powers. Alone in her cottage, she placed her hands on his wounds, focusing all her strength. Slowly, Ethan's breathing steadied, and the color returned to his face. Exhausted, Clara sat beside him, tears streaming down her cheeks. The villagers' frightened faces haunted her. She had saved them, but at what cost? As night fell, Ethan awoke weakly, offering her a small, comforting smile. You did it, Clara. You saved us. Clara shook her head sadly. They fear me now, Ethan. Ethan reached out, holding her hand gently. They fear what they don't understand. But I know who you are, Clara. You have a good heart. You are stronger than your fears. His words brought Clara comfort, yet she knew her challenges were far from over. She could feel Talara's threat lingering, waiting patiently for her to succumb to Zarakai's dark legacy. That night, beneath the soft glow of Eldara's twin moons, Clara resolved to confront her fears and face her destiny head-on. She knew the battle in her heart had just begun, but she vowed she would never lose sight of who she truly was. The Dragonheart pulsed gently, reminding her of Arian's final words. Great power must always be balanced with wisdom and compassion. With Ethan resting peacefully beside her, Clara felt strength and hope rekindling within her heart. The future remained uncertain, but she knew one truth clearly. She would protect Eldara at all costs, no matter the challenges ahead. On the distant and quiet world called Eldara, rolling green hills met the endless blue sky, and small villages dotted the peaceful land. Eldara had no great wars or battles, only simple lives filled with farming, trading, and stories around evening fires. But high above a hidden mountain, deep inside a cave filled with ancient secrets, lived an old and wise dragon named Orion. Orion was the keeper of something very special, the Dragonheart crystal, a stone that glowed softly in shades of deep red and gentle gold, pulsing with hidden power. Orion had guarded the crystal for centuries, waiting patiently for someone worthy to carry its strength. But the years had taken their toll. The dragon's massive body had grown weary, and his scales had lost their bright shine. Orion knew his time in the world was almost at an end. He had to find someone pure of heart, brave, and good to trust with the Dragonheart. One bright morning, Clara woke up early in her small cottage near the edge of her village. She had no family and lived alone, tending to her small garden and helping neighbors when they needed it. Clara was known for her kindness and courage, never turning away anyone in need. But Clara often wondered if there was something more she should be doing with her life. That same morning, a loud cry for help echoed from the village square. Clara hurried outside to find her best friend Ethan, trying to calm frightened villagers. "What happened?" Clara asked quickly, running to Ethan's side. "It's the wild beasts again," Ethan replied, pointing toward the woods. "They took some animals and scared the children. They're getting bolder." Without another word, Clara grabbed a sturdy stick and ran toward the forest. Ethan called after her, but Clara did not slow down. She had faced wild creatures before and knew hesitation would only bring more harm. Entering the dark woods, Clara moved quietly. Soon she heard growls and snarls. Creeping closer, she saw the beasts a pack of large wolf-like creatures circling. 2 frightened goats. Without thinking, Clara charged forward, waving her stick and yelling loudly. Surprised, the beasts backed away, confused by her bravery. Seeing their hesitation, Clara struck out again, driving them further back until they fled deeper into the forest. Exhausted but relieved, Clara gently guided the goats back to the village, where everyone greeted her with cheers. Ethan looked at her with pride but also worry. "You must be careful, Clara," he warned softly. "One day bravery might not be enough." High above, hidden among the clouds, Orion had watched the entire event with great interest. This human girl had shown courage, compassion, and strength, everything he sought in a guardian for the Dragonheart. Making his decision, the ancient dragon spread his tired wings and began his descent. That evening, as Clara sat by her small fire, a great shadow passed over her cottage. Curious and cautious, she stepped outside into the cool night air. There, standing majestically in the moonlight, was Orion. Clara stared in awe, unable to move or speak. She had heard stories of dragons, but had never dreamed she would see one herself. "Do not be afraid," Orion spoke gently, his deep voice calm and soothing. "I have watched you, Clara. Your courage and kindness are unmatched. You know my name?" Clara whispered, surprised. "I know many things," Orion replied softly. "I am Orion, keeper of the Dragonheart. I have guarded this crystal for ages, but my time is nearing its end. It is now your turn." Clara felt a wave of uncertainty. "Why me? I'm nobody special." Orion smiled kindly, lowering his great head. "Your humility only confirms my choice. True strength lies within your heart, Clara. You have already proven your worth." Slowly, Orion opened one massive clawed hand to reveal the Dragonheart. The crystal shimmered beautifully, casting gentle warmth over them both. Clara felt drawn to it, its glow calming and welcoming. Carefully, she reached out, feeling a strong, comforting power enter her as she touched the crystal. It felt as if the crystal had always been a part of her, waiting patiently to be found. "With this crystal, you will gain strength and knowledge beyond imagining," Orion explained softly. "But remember, great power must always be balanced with wisdom and compassion." "I promise I will do my best," Clara vowed solemnly, holding the Dragonheart close. Orion nodded approvingly, his eyes filled with peace. "I believe in you, Clara." Then slowly and gently, Orion lay down upon the soft grass. "My time is ending," he said calmly, "but my spirit will always watch over you. Guard the Dragonheart, Clara, and use its power wisely." Tears filled Clara's eyes as she watched Arian's breathing slow. "I will," she whispered, kneeling beside him. "Rest peacefully, Orion." As the dragon closed his eyes for the final time, Clara felt a warm breeze sweep around her, carrying Arian's spirit gently into the night sky. She stood quietly, holding the crystal, feeling its heartbeat match her own. Clara knew her life would never be the same. Got far away, in another part of the galaxy, sensors aboard a hidden alien spaceship suddenly blinked brightly. Alien scouts quickly reported to their leader, Talara, that they had detected the unmistakable energy signature of the Dragonheart. Talara, a fierce warlord, recognized this immediately. It was the lost artifact of her once powerful ruler Zarakai. And it meant only one thing. The ancient warlord had finally returned. Talara turned her fierce gaze toward the stars. "Prepare my ship," she commanded sharply. "The galaxy is about to witness the rebirth of Zarakai." Back on Eldara, Clara stood, alone beneath the stars, unaware of her true past and the challenges that lay ahead. The Dragonheart glowed softly in her hands, guiding her gently into a destiny she had never imagined.